Hello. On this episode of the Dohyo, we're diving back into the Shadow of Hakuho with Yusho number 28 through 31. There will be disqualifications, Yokozuna runs, and the finest mullet ever seen from Mongolia. So throw!
Throw the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Hello and welcome back to the Dohyo here on Mr. J-Wag's channel. Today, like I said, we are jumping back into the Shadow of Hakuho, the alternate universe where Hakuho never existed. So we go through every single one of his Yusho and give the Yusho to who would have been the most deserving Rikishi. Check it out. I mean, I also just did a recap of it previous episode, but there's one there. But you can check them out. Or you can just go with it. Just roll with it. You're here. We got it. All right, are you ready? Ready to dive into the Shadow of Hakuho?
The Shadow of Hakuho. The chosen one.
The Shadow of Hakuho. All right, here we go. Yusho number 28. January 2014, Hakuho wins with a 14-1 record. Second place, Jun Yusho goes to Kakuryu, also with a 14-1 record. Next closest Rikishi were Komusubi Tochiozan and Maegashira 10 Endo at 11-4. I gave this one to Kakuryu in a lock. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like starting out with a lock. Nice, easy, clean. This one was a playoff. It was 14-1, facing 14-1. This was a very interesting tournament. Now, Kakuryu lost on day 1 to Maegashira Okinoumi. He then won the next 14 consecutive matches, including a day 15 match against Hakuho. In which case he then immediately came back and lost in the playoff, but he was still the only other person even in close contention. Now the other interesting thing about this was that this was the beginning of Kakuryu's Yokozuna run. The tournament directly after this, March 2014, he ended up going 14-1 again, except he won this time and was promoted to Yokozuna. So even though Kakuryu has been in the Shadow of Hakuho mix, he would not have been a Yokozuna yet. Kakuryu actually, in the Shadow of Hakuho world, would have been a Yokozuna at the exact same time. Quick sidebar. So as I said, he went 14-1 in the January tournament, losing to Hakuho only in the playoff. Well, he only lost one match in the March tournament, to Okinoumi. Weird. So we go from the January of this year, which was won by Hakuho, and then we have the March, which was, I just said, a Kakuryu 14-1. Now after this, Hakuho decided he didn't want to lose for a while, so the next few episodes of the Shadow of Hakuho are going to be consecutive Yusho on the calendar. Which leads us to Yusho number 29. May 2014, Hakuho wins with a 14-1 record. Second place, Jun Yusho, goes to Ozeki Kisano Sato with a 13-2 record. Next closest were Yokozuna Haramafuji and Maegashira 5 Ikiyori at 11-4. I give this one to Kisano Sato in a strong case. Now in the interest of full disclosure, I go through all of these Yusho. I went through them all about a year ago when I originally made the spreadsheet, but I go through each of these before we film to see if I still believe what I believed when I made the original spreadsheet. Now this episode, I have ended up changing 2 of my rankings, and one, I even changed the wrestler who won. Not this one, but coming up soon. The deeper I dug into this specific tournament, the less clear this one was. It looked on the surface like it was a lock. Kisano Sato only lost to Aoyama and then Hakuho and then managed to beat all the other people who were the contenders. Seems pretty fair. I mean, he lost to Hakuho, but everyone was losing to Hakuho at this point. And he was 2 wins above the next person, so how were they going to make those up? Well, on day 14, Kisano Sato faced Haramafuji, and this happened. Now, the Gunbai ended up pointing to Kiseno Sato because they thought Harumafuji stepped out before. But after a mono-ii was called, Harumafuji was disqualified for a hair pull. Harumafuji himself admitted in the dressing room later there was contact with the hair, but any pulling would have been inadvertent. If Harumafuji had ended up winning this match, they both would have gone into the final day at 12-2. At which point, Harumafuji lost to Hakuho, who in the series wouldn't be there. So that gives me just enough of a doubt there that would have caused a playoff. It just creates too many things in the timeline. So I can't give you a lock, but Kiseno Sato, you get a strong case. Now this one gets a little complicated. Big number 30. July 2014, Hakuho wins with a 13-2 record. Jun Yusho, second place, is a tie between Ozeki Kotoshogiku and Sekiwake Goeido. One win down at 11-4 is Yokozuna Kakuryu, Maegashira 6 Myogiryu, and Maegashira 11 Takayasu. One win below, 5 wrestlers at 10-5, including Yokozuna Harumafuji. I give this one to Ozeki Kotoshogiku in a definite maybe. Alright, now Yusho number 30 actually took a lot out of me. I went back and forth on this one between Kotoshogiku and Goeido, Kotoshogiku. They were great rivals in life. What about this tournament made me think one way or the other? I mean, this was an insane basho just in real life. Starting day 15, 4 Rikishi were in contention for the title, which is amazing in itself. And there could have been like a 3-way playoff at the end. There was a lot of stuff that could have gone down. Goeido didn't have a great first week, lost to a couple Maegashira, ended up ending very, very strongly, including a win over Hakuho. But as I've said before, this could be one of those scenarios where the extra win actually hurts Goeido because he wasn't necessarily the most consistent Rikishi. Now, Kotoshogiku did in fact have all of his losses in the second week, but he's an Ozeki. He's facing all the best wrestlers in the second week. So he lost to Yokozuna Kakuryu, Yokozuna Hakuho, and Sekiwake Goeido. Now, on day 15, Goeido was actually still fighting for his Ozeki promotion and a Shukun Sho prize. So everyone had a little bit of extra motivation on that last day. Now, the Goeido-Kotoshogiku head-to-head was like a 30-20 split in favor of Goeido. So, favoring Goeido, but it's not a case where you have, like, certain acts to a career where he kicked butt during from this to this time, and then it was all this guy from this to this time. No. The Kotoshogiku-Goeido rivalry through the years has actually been relatively give and take, without one Rikishi being dominant for any stretch of time. So even though Kotoshogiku lost the head-to-head to Goeido, I still think that extra possibility of a win would bump him up, and he gets the definite maybe. Alright, Yusho number 31, let's hear it for prime numbers! September 2014, Hakuho wins with a 14-1 record. Jun Yusho, second place, goes to Maegashira 10 Ichinojo. The next highest are Yokozuna Kakuryu and Maegashira 8 Tochiozan at 11-4. I give this one to Ichinojo in a lock.
It is Ichinojo time! Yes!
Okay, so I mentioned in the recap episode, we're starting to get to some of the more recent and current Rikishi, and I'm so happy about it, because now we get to talk about Ichinojo, the Mongolian mountain. Okay, this was Ichinojo's 6th tournament in organized sumo. It was his Makauchi debut. He just blasted his way through the lower ranks just completely. And after this tournament, he went from Maegashira 10 all the way up to Sekiwake. In the Tamino Umi episode, we were talking about Kitano Fuji going all the way from Maegashira 10 to Komusubi. Ichinojo went all the way up to Sekiwake after this tournament. And you might be tempted to think, well, this was a case where, Hakuho probably wasn't going to face him because he was a Maegashira, so he didn't face a lot of people and ended up not winning. No, Ichinojo got very, very aggressively promoted down the stretch of this tournament. He ended up beating Kiseno Sato, Goeido, and Kakuryu in consecutive matches before facing off with Hakuho on day 14. Here you go. So yes, Ichinojo did face Hakuho and lost in a 20-second match, and he hadn't even been in sumo long enough to grow a proper top knot, and, we didn't mention it, but things are getting a little shaggy for me too. And he gave Hakuho a run for his money. So that is why I say, Ichi Nojo, you would have got this. You would have won this one in a lock. Thank you so much for coming by as we sort of restart the Shadow of Hakuho. We don't have that many left, but I'm excited to get to the end, and we'll start talking about the whole project and various things about that, which I know you're going to love. So everyone, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and I will see you next time on the Dohyo.